All right, so here we have one of our latest finished builds. So this car here is a 2010, I believe it is. Double check. No, 2007, my bad. Yeah, 2007. So this is a 2007 E4 S model. So you see the E4, the S signifies the diamond plate rear bed in the back. So this one did not have the factory rear fender. The S models came with the 3-foot bed, and then they had the ELXD, which was basically the long 6-foot bed, but those only came in the two-seat version. So E4 S model. We just finished this one. We shot the front nose in white, and we did our carbon fiber smoke kind of grills in the front. We did a pretty basic build on this car. We didn't go over the top on it. The customer did not want it to be over the top. He wanted it to look somewhat stock-ish, but just kind of a modified flare. So we kind of blacked out some of the trim. We blacked out the upper dash, blacked out the column, blacked out the steering wheel surround up there, did the black, interior 4-panel wide rear view mirror. And then we did our black low profile EV Designs roof rack. And then we blacked out the armrest. We blacked out the seat, whatever you call these things, the door latch mechanisms. And then we blacked out the rear bed rails, and then we built this is our EV Designs rear jump seat kit. So this is a kit that we make. You could actually mount it this way, or you could turn it the other way and mount it where it sits forward, and you have 3 forward facing rows. It's kind of cool to have kids back there. We also make a rear sun canopy that kind of goes up on a little, almost looks like an extension of the roof here, where it has a little sun canopy, and then you can put kids back there, and they really like to sit back there. It's kind of neat. This one, the customer wanted it mounted rearwards, and it's real easy for a kid to just step on the tire, just jump right up, or they just kind of hop up on the back. And this guy has property, and he literally just drives it on his private land. Basically, it doesn't really go on the street. He actually wanted us to add this little tow ball back here, so that's why we did that, just so we could pull his little garden trailer around, and that's why that ball is there. So this particular car, we did our 2-tone black diamond upholstery. So we did the black main upholstery with the black diamond centers, and then we did the 2-tone white. So we did the white inner and outer layer piping. We added 2 inches of additional padding inside the seats. You can see how thick they are on the sides here. These are not just covers that you slip over this. A lot of people ask us, where do you get those covers? They're actually not covers. You can kind of see they're made with 2 inches of padding sewn into the back side of the padding. And then we build up additional padding in here to kind of, if you look from the side, you can see how the seats kind of have that swoop to them. It's kind of the same thing here. They have that bulge and that swoop to them, and that's what gives our seats a much different look than a regular stock gem seat would look, or a stock gem seat that just has covers on them. They kind of have a flat appearance. That's what gives you that thicker bolster look. We also did our EV Designs 8-inch lift on this car. So typically when we run the 23-inch tires like this, we will run a 6-inch lift, but the customer wanted an 8-inch lift. So we did the 8-inch lift with the widened and extended wheelbase, and you'll notice how you can see the tubular, part of our lift back there, how far it comes forward. So what that does is brings the entire lift forward and then out. So being that we went 8 inches on this one, we brought the front end forward 1 3/4 inches and then out 2 inches. And then on the rear, you can also see, if you look perfectly level with the axle, you'll see the upper tube was the old frame. And then you can see where the ball is mounted. My camera's not in focus. You can see how kicked back it is. So what we do is, for every 6 inches we go down, we go back 1 inch. So if you go 8 inches down, it's back 1.5 inches. So you can see that whole rear drop axle is what we build when we do our lifts. You can also see that where the hub is mounted over here, this is the stock axle. So this is where the hub used to be mounted. You can see how we cut it off and brought it out. So this one was brought out 3 inches, not 3 1/4. This one was only brought out 3 inches. Same on that side. So the entire frame is extended 6 inches and then brought back 1.5 inches. And what that does is we always mathematically calculate the offset of the wheel and the type of tire that we're using and all that kind of stuff. And that gives you the perfect poke on the tires. You notice it's basically just one tread cubicle out. And then when you look at the front, it matches the exact same. You look over here on this side, it's exactly dead nuts. And it's just something I've always been nuts about when I build these cars. I cannot stand when they're not even and they don't look right. If you use the gem lift kits that you can buy online, there's nothing wrong with those. A lot of people use them, and they, it does get the car up off the ground, and it, makes them look a lot better. But what it does is it shortens the wheelbase, because what they do is it just kind of rolls the axle down, which does raise the car up, but it shoves the rear end of the car this way, and the same thing with the front. So you actually lose wheelbase, and that's why whenever we do our lifts, we always hand build them depending on the car. So if it's the S model, we have a different calculation than if it's just a regular E4, or if it's an ELXD, or if it's an E2. They're all different, but we have our own formulas on how we do it. And if you notice, the tire is perfectly centered in the arch of the wheel well. That way, if you have 6 adults in here and you're going off-roading in some real rough terrain, and this thing articulates, when you go into a real serious pothole or something, that wheel is going to go right up in there like it's supposed to, and you're not going to have to worry about it hitting the fenders or anything like that, as if you would on a lift that was not done properly. This one has the D&D 7.5 horse motor, so 11.6 continuous. I'm sorry, peak horsepower with a 7.5 continuous. This car also has our upgraded LED black optics headlights with our smoke tinted lenses. And this particular customer did not want the lights mounted like how we normally do. He wanted them pointed down. So he wanted them kind of pointed at the ground like that. He did not want them up in the air. So you'll notice when we turn the key on, how they kind of are pointed downwards. He wanted them, because they are so bright, he didn't want them, where they're, you see how bright they are down here. He wanted more of an kind of on the ground type of a look. So they will light up all the way up to there, but that's just the reason why he wanted them that way. So this car also has a brand new, we literally just put the battery in today. It's the 72 volt 105 amp hour LifePo, so lithium phosphate cells. And what we did is we gutted this battery, pulled out the factory BMS that comes in these piece of crap batteries that they sell, and we put our own BMS in there. So we did a high-powered JK BMS and tied those into all the cells in here, and that essentially makes this a bulletproof battery. These things will last, it'll literally go about 50 miles of range, and they don't shut out, they don't stall or cut out when you're going up a hill or anything weird like that when you have heavy loads in them. If you leave the original BMS in these batteries, they do tend to cut out. They will shut out, they'll clip off. They do have a lot of issues, so that's why it's always recommended, at least for us. We do the 72 volt 105 amp hour LifePo cells, and then we do our own JK BMS. These things are absolutely a tank. So much better than the lead acid or anything like that as far as like range goes. Then you can see how we kind of mounted up there. We make a little tray, and then the battery slides right in, and it has about that much space in between the top of the frame down there. So make sure that's in there nice and tight. This one has our low profile retractable seat belts that we do on all of our gem cars. This one also has a Pioneer system. We did a Pioneer in here. So Pioneer 4-speaker Bluetooth sound system, and then it also has the multicolored interior and underbody LED lights, which is mounted to here. So once you turn that on, you have a remote control, and you can change it to any color that you want. Like I said, I always like the blue. I think the blue looks the best. Can't really see it right now because it's so dark, but I think the blue looks cool. And the reason why this car has these funky looking little rubber things on here, because this car does have the factory hard doors. That's what these big hinges are for. The customer just has them off at the moment, but it does have matching white doors with a black stripe that goes down the middle. Kind of looks cool and matches the wheels and the two-tone white on black theme. So overall, it's a pretty basic build. It's basically just an E4S with an 8-inch lift, some wheels, tires, upholstery, a sound system, and a blue, a lithium upgraded battery is really what it is. It does have the high-speed motor. So it's not like a real crazy over-the-top one, but it's exactly what the customer wanted. So that is that. So I'll take you for a real quick ride here and show you how good this thing drives. This way. With that lithium kit in there though, this thing, I mean, it'll roast the tires. It literally just did when I gassed it right there, just kind of chirped the tires. But it'll run like this all day long, which is really impressive. These batteries are badass for a gem car. It's been for years, there's been a lot of, what battery works in the gem and this and that. We were running the Samsung batteries for a while, for actually about 1.5 years, and we just couldn't get them anymore. They just kind of ran out of stock. So we've been getting the LifePo cells now, and they are amazing with the correct BMS in there. So anyways, this is the car, and if you guys like this style and you want us to build one that's kind of like this for you, put it in your own garage, just give us a call, check us out. Custom gem cars on any Google search engine, or whatever, any way that you do search on the internet, you'll find us. Just type in custom gem cars and we'll pop right up.